Okay, today I want to give you some insights and some sidelines of the Berlin Defense Ruy Lopez Spanish Opening. This arises after the moves e4, e5. Both sides are going for the center. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop to b5, knight f6, d3. This is the move I will look at today. The other main moves are either to castle or to play moves knight c3, I guess, but I'm looking at d3 now. Okay, d3, there are two main moves here, either to play the move d6 or the move bishop c5. Let's look at bishop c5. Here I recommend the move castles, and then after d6, the move queen e2. And now black can respond either by playing bishop g4 or by playing castles. Let's look at bishop g4 first. This is no problem for white, but black can play like this. For example, I would recommend the move h3, kicking the bishop, bishop h5, and now the move bishop e3. And after bishop takes, you have this in-between check, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and now I would recommend the move f takes e3. Now the rook is defending the knight, you have a half-open f-file, and you can also push d4 at some point, when this pawn is defended, of course, either by playing the knight into d2 or the knight into d3. Game might continue with rook b8, attacking the b pawn, b3, queen e7, and now knight bd2. And now the move d5, followed by e takes d5, c takes d5. Knight takes d5 is not that great. Here I have a variation which goes like e4, attacking the knight, knight there, attacking the queen. Probably better is knight f4, but this is also not to be feared. Just queen e3, and now castles, king h2, bishop takes f3, knight takes f3, rook b6, trying to go c5 and bring the rook over to the g file or to the h file or to the f file. Let's see, and now g3, kicking the knight, knight goes to g3, and now a4, trying to kick the bishop. The rook and white should be slightly better. Also after knight c3, white is better. For example, game might continue queen f2, going out of the pin. Bishop takes, and now the in-between move, queen takes a7, attacking the rook, so there is no time to move the bishop, because the rook hangs with check, castles, and now knight takes f3, and white just won a pawn, and black's pawn structure is messed up. The knight on c3 is, yeah, it's good looking, but it's not doing so much. But okay, black is also not lost here. But yeah. Okay. This is if you go knight takes d4. But the main move I want to look at is the move c takes d4. Of course, undoubling the c pawns and creating this center. Now I would recommend the move e4. Striking at the center, bishop takes, attacking the queen, queen takes f3, and now queen here check, followed by queen f2, and queen takes c2, but this is no problem, just go d4, and black should castle, because if you take on e4, for example, then this is very bad, just queen takes f7 check, and rook here, with an attack on the queen, but also an attack here. So this is very bad news. For example, game might continue with this. Now queen takes c7, this is a mate in 4. And now this is checkmate. so that's not good. This is what would happen if knight takes e4. And if you take this pawn, then it's also not better than e5 kicking the knight, and then castles would be the best move, just giving up the knight, because yeah, if you move the knight somewhere, then this f7 pawn again hangs. So that's why this is not so good. So that's why I recommend for black to move castles. And now you can go rook c1, rook ac1, attacking the queen. If the queen takes on a2, then you take on e5, knight d7, because if you take here, then just knight takes, attacking the queen, and the knight is defending the queen, so this would be terrible for black. That's why knight d7 is here the move for black, and now you just take the pawn here, attack the knight, knight takes on e5, and now rook takes on a7, attacking the queen. The rook is nicely protected by the queen on f2 here, and after queen b2, just take on d5, and in fact white is up a pawn and is slightly better here, but nothing to write home about probably, but okay, at least white has some edge. Okay, this was the move. Which move was this actually? This was queen e2. Castles. Was this that line? No, this was the bishop g4 line. Then just h3 and stuff like that. But there is also another line I looked at, the move castles. There I would recommend the move c3, and after bishop to d7, continue with the move c4, bishop c4. There is also the move bishop g4 now, but just h3, bishop h5, knight here, a5, rook f to d1, and now the move a4, knight here, preparing bishop g5. Bishop g5, by the way, here does nothing for white, so that's why I would recommend the move knight d2, going either to this b3 square or to the c4 square. Now the move a5, gaining some space on the queen side, also opening up the a6 square for the rook, rook fd1, a4, gaining even more space. Also knight here or rook there on a5 is possible now. I would recommend the move knight c4, at least stopping the rook coming to a5, and the knight will very much like to play in here to e3 and to f4. So also bishop h6 is now, bishop g4 is now more useful. So that's why h6 should be played with black. There is also the move knight a7 or queen e7, and probably some more moves. Queen d2 is a move, and yeah, also queen c8. But okay, let's go with h6. Now I would recommend move a3 to stop any a3 from white, and now queen e7 followed up with bishop e3, bishop takes e3, bishop takes e3, and now queen e6. And now the move rook to d2 followed up with for example knight e7 or rook f e8, followed up with rook a e8, queen here, bishop there attacking the queen, queen b6, and knight f5, and the game should be around equal. This is how you should play this against bishop c5. If I look for anything instead of a4, oh, there is also this line a4. How does this continue? Yeah, of course, I forgot that. So after 97, a5, a4, there's this move bishop g5 also, but this really does nothing. It leads to a slight edge for black. So now looked at bishop g4, h3 and bishop h5. Now let's look at bishop to d7. There I would recommend the move bishop back to c4. Now the move a5, and here I would recommend the move a4. For example, a5. White can also play a6 followed by b5, a6 or h6 followed by b4, kicking the bishop and now gaining some space on the queen side, kicking the knight, play the knight into a3, and this should be also around equal. I would prefer white here in that position, but it should be around equal. Also, instead of a5, black can try the move a6, which is also around equal, then b4, bishop a7 and knight a3. Follow up with this maneuver, going in here, b5, a5, knight to g6, g3, stopping any knight f5, h6, a4, and if ever bishop takes e3, then you have this knight takes e3, and this knight will come to this square f5, most probably, and this to h5. So this should be a very positional game, playable for both sides. Not sure which one I would prefer here. Both sides look quite normal. But okay, let's go with my main line here. Main line after bishop c4 is a5 for black. But a6 is also quite good. a5 here I would recommend the move a4. But you can also try bishop g5, but this leads to a slight edge for black, for example like this. And black has, probably nothing, probably it's equal. And you can probably go something like h4 to rip open the king side. So you can play bishop g5 here. And yeah, hope for the best. But okay, we'll just recommend the move a4 after a5, and then for example h6, taking away the g5 square from the bishop, and now rook fd1, queen e7, rook fd1 prepares some d4 push, maybe in the future. Here rook e7, queen e7, and now bishop e3. Would recommend the move instead of queen here. If black tries bishop g4, then just h3, bishop h5, and knight a3, followed up with rook fe8, for example, and knight c2, preparing either to go there with the knight over the bishop or to prepare d4 at some point. Game might continue with rook c6 to here, knight c6 to e7, and now the move b4, kicking the knight. This was also possible, and now the move g4, bishop g6, and b5, and yeah, this should also be playable for both sides. But okay, I would recommend the move bishop e3 here in that position instead of anything else. Just the move bishop e3. If black goes queen e7, just bishop e3, and then bishop takes e3, queen takes e3, knight h5, going after this f4 square. Now knight here, queen f6, knight there, threatening on c7, rook c8, and now the move g3, stopping any knight to f4, and also this should be around equal, playable for both sides. I didn't find anything here where white really gains some significant advantage, but okay. This was the move bishop c5. If black goes d6, then this is the other main move. You should just go castles. And now there are three options, either to go g3 and g6, fianchettoing the bishop, or to go bishop e7, or the move bishop to d7. First, we're gonna look at the move bishop to d7, just unpinning. I would recommend the move a3, and now, for example, the move bishop e7. Here, for example, these are the main moves. If you go bishop g4, pinning the knight, then just h3, and yeah, this is also playable for both sides. Something like this. e5, rook f, rook a2, e1, and now queen e6. Also playable for both sides, this bishop g4. But the main moves are, as I said, bishop to d7, g6, or bishop to e7. So bishop here, I would recommend the move a3, now bishop e7, bishop c4, castles, bishop e3, just normal development. After bishop e3, black can go knight here to go after the bishop, but then you just go back with the bishop, and bishop here, just go there, allow this to happen. Black would most likely capture this, but you can play like this, and you'd have at least some initiative, and yeah. But it's also playable for black, this kind of line. So bishop d7, a3, bishop e7, and bishop to c4, followed up with castles, bishop e3, and here a6 I would recommend for black, and now the move h3 to stop any bishop coming in here or knight coming in there. Knight fg4 I looked at, so h3, bishop e6, bishop takes, pawn takes, and now the move c3, followed up with d5, knight d2, and the game should be around equal. So this was the move bishop to d7. Let's now look at the move bishop to e7, the other main move. Here I would recommend the move h3 to stop any knight or bishop coming to g4, also creating some luft for the king. Here black should just castle, and now bishop e3, a3, bishop takes c6, pawn takes c6, and queen to e2, followed up with c5 and knight bd2. And here black has many options, either to go knight d7 or to go queen e8, bishop e6, h6, rook b8. There are a lot of possible ways. Rook b8 is probably the most obvious, going after this pawn here. Then I will go knight c4. Now the knight is nicely covering this pawn. Also at some point it may become to e3 to f4 when this bishop is leaving this diagonal, but okay. This was the move bishop to e7, and now let's look at my favorite move here, the move g6. Yeah, well, bishop to d7 is also good, nice, but I like g6 even more. Here would recommend the move knight c3, now bishop g7, and now the move bishop to g5. Also possible is a6. Here, wait, bishop g5, and now there are two options, either to go h6 or a6, but it can transpose. So let's go with h6. Bishop takes. Bishop takes, and now knight d4 attacking the bishop. Bishop moves back. Now I would recommend the move queen e1, followed up with a6 and bishop c4, castles, and it should be around equal. This is the move h6, and if a6, then bishop a4, followed up with castles and knight here, going after the pinned piece. Rook to b8. And probably a more interesting move is the move bishop e6. Then you'd go c4, rook b8, rook c2, b5, bishop back, and now knight here, followed up with c5, and the game will become very interesting, probably with a slight edge for white. But okay, you can also go rook b8 with this b5 plan immediately as black. So this is the move castles, knight here, and rook b8. If you go b5 immediately, new variation, then you get bishop b3 followed up with, for example, bishop e6, a4, striking at this b5 pawn, bishop takes d5, bishop takes f6, attacking the queen in between move, bishop takes, and now bishop takes, attacking the knight, queen d, the knight is pinned, of course, to the rook, so queen d7, also connecting rooks, and now queen d2, and you see there that white should have the upper hand there, so a6 b5 is probably not the best. You should go rook b8 at some point as black. So let's recap this. This is what I will play here for both sides, and with bishop b3 this variation ends. Here you can go bishop e6 as black, and then queen d2, and yeah, this is probably a slight edge for white. That's why I would recommend the move h6 instead of a3, and now bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, knight d5 attacking the bishop, bishop g2, queen e1, a6 attacking the bishop. And now you don't really want to take there, because after b takes, this knight is under threat. So that's why I would go to c4, and then just black can just castle here. If knight a5, then queen takes a5. Okay, this I missed, of course. So just castles, and everything should be fine for black. Equal game. Yeah. This is the Berlin defense with d3, with for d3. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something from it, and see you next time. Ciao.